What is up, YouTube? It's me, the Artisan MC, and today I'm going to give you my reaction to the Acolyte, episode 3. Um, what is this shit called? Destiny. Well, this is the episode, or one of the two episodes that was really hyped up before it came out. And the spoiler on this episode was that the fundamental nature of the Force was going to change in this episode and show you that the Force is female. I don't see that happening in this episode. Now, understand, I'm giving you my reaction. I'm not giving you a review of the episode because, like it or not, you're going to have to watch it yourself to get the whole review, or tune in on Sunday to the hero's journey, where I will talk about it in review. But since this is the first night it came out, I'm not spoiling anything, really. What I will say is this. Some of what I saw in this episode did not necessarily make the Force female. Now, one of my favorite series in Star Wars books was the Fate of the Jedi series. And in the Fate of the Jedi series, Grandmaster Luke Skywalker was kind of exiled from the Order. And he got on his wife, Mara Jade Skywalker's ship, and took his son, Ben Skywalker, and they went through the universe following the path of his nephew, Jason Solo, to try to figure out where Jason Solo went wrong, how it became that he turned into Darth Caedus. Now, through that story, what you find is there are a number of people in the universe who use the Force. Now, different civilizations, different races of aliens and stuff like that, they don't call it the Force that they use. But they do use the Force, for lack of a better word. It's just called something different. Now, what you got in that story was that Luke Skywalker understood this because in his travels as a lone Jedi in the universe, he came across these different races of people and learned how they use the Force. And understand it's just different frequencies almost. Yes, it ties everything and all living things together. But using it as a Jedi or Sith is only one way to use it. There are other ways to use it and other frequencies of it you can tap into. And Luke showed his son how to do this because Luke learned how to do it. Now, what I'm seeing in this episode, to be fair, is not that much of a stretch on that idea. The idea that these witches of fucking Headlandwick are using something that they call the thread is just another variation of the Force. Yeah, they don't call it the Force, but it is still that life force energy that goes through all living things that they can tap into and control or manipulate. That's all it is. Now, what I see from them in their story and how they created these two children is that they would be using the equivalent of Sith alchemy. You know, the same Sith alchemy that was used to create Anakin Skywalker in Shmi Skywalker. Same shit. So this whole thing that they the Force is female and they changed it. That's I didn't see that there. Not in the dialogue, not in what the hell they was talking about. It absolutely meant nothing to me that, oh, one woman used the power to create this life and into another woman. It is no different than Anakin getting created in Shmi. Now, I don't say that with any joy because I do think Leslie Headland is a terrible writer. But canonically, that does have some legs that it can stand on. Doesn't make the Force female. It just makes it a bunch of females using what they don't call the Force, what they call the thread. I said this during my Patreon stream is that the Force is something that binds all things together, right? What do you use to bind things together? Threads, cables, strings, same shit. Now, while these witches are not showing any martial prowess in how they use this ability, all of it looks like a bunch of handshaking and Tai Chi. I think this show would have been a lot better if they spent some money on special effects so you could see some kind of distortion when they're using the thread. Because otherwise, it just looks ridiculous. I mean, it really does like look like some interpretive dance number. Now, the idea that these coven of witches, since we have to have witches and magic now and in Star Wars, is interesting on its own. Fine. It's a bunch of people who use this same thing. They don't call it the Force, they call it the thread. They use the thread and they went off in secret to do their little deal and made these two children. Why they're the only two children that they made, I don't know. Why they focused on just two children, I don't know. But it's a bunch of women making some kids. So, in essence, it's in vitro fertilization to make two children strong in the Force or the thread. To sit here and be raised by just a bunch of women to perpetuate their legacy. Okay. Now, the introduction of the Jedi in this is kind of bothering me because they keep making the Jedi out to be a religious group, whereas I have used that analogy before that the Sith and the Jedi are just different religious factions because it is a faith. You have to believe. But I did take a little umbrage with them calling them monks. Jedi are not monks. So the way they set it up in this show is that they're doing something that the church being the Jedi, does not approve of and expresses their authority over. That seems a little bit silly. Just seems a little bit silly. Now, why these witches are so terrified of the Jedi, I do not know. They didn't say it in this episode. They ran in exile from the Republic to be on this planet by themselves, cooking up two kids. Okay. Are you not supposed to have children? Yes. Okay. So You decided to break whatever laws there were and make your own kids. Okay. And now you terrified because the Jedi, I guess, sensed them and came to find them to test them. Well, maybe you should have some more kids around. Because it basically sets up the Jedi as people who come and steal children away. Well, we're supposed to be making them damn kids anyway. And they didn't really take anything. One of them chose to leave and not be a part of your coven. And that was a grave error. Because, like Stockholm Syndrome, the one person that remembers I'm a hostage here and wants to leave is now the problem. Now, aside from the dialogue that was kind of silly in the interpretive dance thread using, which seems silly, I didn't see the Forces female stuff. I really didn't. Now, maybe they'll get to it by episode 4. Maybe they won't. But from what I saw in this one, it was barely explained, and it's not much different than what happened to Shmi. So if you got a problem with one, you have to have a problem with the other one too. There can be more than one, I guess, virgin birth through alchemy, or i.e. magic. Because if it's a coven full of witches, that's the only goddamn way it was going to happen. Because they ain't having no kids any other way. Which, because they had to do it that way, proves they know it too. So, a little couple of lines of dialogue, little over, arching theme on some things. A bunch of women running around using the thread. Whatever. It wasn't that bad. Did I think the story was decent? It was interesting to see what their little coven was set up like. One boss chick, one bitchy chick. I was seeing shades of, I guess, Star Wars and Wakanda Forever in this, which was kind of bothersome. I mean, at one point I saw shades of Doctor Who in this, and I was like, what the hell is she doing? Huh? Is that what I think it is? Is that a sonic screwdriver? I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm tired. But I can tell you this, for the most part, it was a boring episode. I was just watching it. Not reacting, really. Just watching it. Nothing was grabbing me. Nothing was giving me oh shit moments outside of the fact that somehow a lantern burned brick and stone. And that caught fire, which I don't understand how that worked. But then again, this is the same show that gave us wavy fire in space. So there's some logical things they don't think about because they're wrapped up in the emotion of it. Well, for me, there was none. Little logic and no emotion. So that's it. That's my reaction. It's over. I saw it. It's not what it was hyped up to be, but I guess I'll hear about it for the next week until episode 4 comes out and smacks us in the face again. So with that, I'm going to get out of here. I've been Artist MC, and this has been my reaction to the Acolyte episode 3, Destiny. Like, share, subscribe, click that bell so you can get alerted every time I go live. and I will see you next time. Peace.